So let's start with the poem. An introduction by Kamala Das. I don't know politics, but I know the names of those in power and can repeat them like days of week or names of months beginning with Nehru. The first section of an introduction, the speaker begins by comparing her knowledge of politicians to the days of week and months of the year. Although she does not have a firm idea or grasp on politics, those in power have remained in her mind. She is counting their name are just like an objects. This shows their power to be much greater than their role should allow. The first of these, she is able to recall the name of our first Prime Minister, Nehru. I'm an Indian, very brown, born in Malabar. I speak 3 languages, writing 2, dreaming on. Next 3 lines, she is talking about her identity, her physical identity, her nationality, and her location. She says, I'm an Indian. Her nationality is Indian, and her skin color, that is very brown. She's born in Malabar. And she talks about her capability to use 3 languages. She says she speaks in 3 languages, writing 2, that is English and Malayalam, and dreaming on language, that is very peculiar language for herself. And in the next lines, she is talking about the critics, those criticizes her of writing in English. Malayalam being her mother tongue, she is supposed to write in Malayalam. But while she is using both English and Malayalam in writing her poetry, she has to face a lot of criticism. Don't write in English, they said. English is not your mother tongue. Why not leave me alone? Critics, friends, visiting cousins, every one of you, all of you are criticizing me of writing in both languages. Why not let me speak in any language I like? No, how bold she talks about her own dream, her own identity. Let me speak myself. Let me speak in which language which I like. The language I speak becomes mine. It is distortions, it is cureness, all mine, mine alone. You should not criticize me of selecting different languages. The language what I prefer to speak becomes mine, and it is all peculiarities, it is distortions, it is cureness, it is strangeness, all becomes mine alone. So you should not criticize me. It is half English, half Indian, funny perhaps, but it is honest. It is as human as I am human. Don't you see? See how boldly she talks about her language. It is half English and half Indian. So whenever an Indian speaks English, she says it becomes half English and half Indian. Her own nationality reflects there. Sometimes it becomes funny. But what is the peculiarity of her language? It is honest. It is very true to her. It is as human as I am human. It talks about humanity. It talks the language of human mind. Don't you see? Have you felt this language through my poems? It voices my joys, my longings, my hopes, and it is useful to me as cawing is to crows or roaring to the lions. It is human speech. So, my language is very important for me because it echoes. My language echoes my joys, my longings, my dreams, and my hopes, and it is useful to me. How her own language useful to her? It is as equal to cawing to the crows or roaring to the lions. This cawing and roaring becomes important for crows and lions, just like her own speech becomes important for her. It is human speech, the speech of the mind that is here and not there. A mind that sees and hears and is aware. So, her poems reflects her mind that can hear and that can see, that can watch, that can feel everything that surrounds her. No, it is not the language of the deaf, not the deaf, blind speech of trees in storm or of monsoon clouds or of rain or the incoherent mutterings of the blazing funeral pyre. See, what are the things that she brings to compare the blind speech? The speech of the trees when storm comes, it is not audible. And the rain with the monsoon clouds and the incoherent mutterings of blazing funeral pyre. These are examples or images to incomplete speech or blind speech. She says that her language is not like that. Her language is the language of mind. It is very clear. Now, in the next lines, she is talking about her physical change. In the first stanzas, she is talked about her identity, her language, her knowledge about the politics. Then she talked about her own language of poetry. Now she is talking about her body. I was child and later they told me I grew, for I became tall, my limbs swelled and on or two places sprouted hair. She is feeling her growth from her childhood to the adolescence. They told me I grew. How society molds us. People says you are grown up, and now she can feel some physical changes in her body. When I asked for love, not love, knowing what else to ask. In that adolescence period, her mind yearned for love. For he drew a youth of 16 into the bedroom and closed the door. She's talking about her marriage. When she wants for love, they arranged marriage, and she says they brought a young man and she was closed in the bedroom. He did not meet me, but my sad woman body felt so beaten. How this sexual activity or physical relationship which felt by her, it is just like beaten by a man. The weight of my breast and womb crushed me. I shrank pitifully. She feels it is not a relationship of mutual enjoyment. She feels it as something subordinate. She was shrank pitifully. It is highly painstaking. Then I wore a shirt and my brother's trousers, cut my hair short and ignored my womanliness. Now she is not like to be a woman at all. Hates her identity as a woman. She says, I want to change my appearance. That is why she wore the trousers of her brother and shirt and cut her hair short. And by doing these all actions, she is just ignoring her woman identity. Dress in sari. Again, the critics comes. They just instruct her. Dress in saris. Be girl. Be wife. They said. And what are the job or work they assigned for her? Be embroider, be cook, be a choral with the servants, fit in, oh belong, cried the categorizers. When she choose a language of her own in writing poetry, people criticized her. You should select such and such language. When she desired to wear her own appearance, select her own appearance, what the categorizers, criticizers is being replaced by categorizers. What is the instruction they gives her? Do the co-work that is assigned to woman. Be an embroider, be a cook in the kitchen, and be a choral with the servants, those who manage servants. A woman who is meant to manage servants. Fit in, you should fit in these roles, in such and such assigned roles, or belong, cried the categorizers. You should belong in such an identity. Don't sit on walls or peep in through our lace-strapped windows. Actually, how she is crossing those borders? She is peeping on wall. She is climbing walls. She is sitting on the walls, and she is looking through the windows. And they instruct her, you should avoid these old things. Be me. That is her first name, childhood name. Or be Kamala. Or better still, be Madhavikutti. So these are the three names assigned to her. They are again repeatedly they are trying to force her to feel that you are a woman, you should do such and such thing, and you should not do such and such things. Or better still, be Madhavikutti. You can be a writer with the pen name. It is time to choose a name, a role. Don't play pretending games. Okay, they are, Kamala, you are playing some games. You are pretending. This is the time you have to select a role. Don't play at schizophrenia. So, don't play at schizophrenia or be an info. Don't try to be a mad woman, or you can be a woman obsessed with sexuality, that is nympho. Don't cry embarrassingly loud when jilted in love. Okay, you are not allowed to cry loudly when you are cheated in love. You have to suppress each and every feeling. I met a man, loved him. Call him not by any name. He is every man who wants. So, in this line, she is talking about a man who loved her. A woman, just as I am every woman who seeks love. He is just like any man or every man who can love, who wants love. And what about she? She's generalizing womanhood. She's like a woman just as am every woman who seeks love, who always seeks for love, who always wants love. In him, the hungry haste of rivers, in me, the ocean's tireless waiting. Here, she's talking about their passionate love. Who are you? I ask each and every one. The answer, it is I. So, she's trying to identify herself. She's asking, who are you? And what's the answer? It is I. Anywhere and everywhere I see the one who calls himself I in this world. And wherever she looks, wherever she goes, she finds people addressing themselves as I. That is what she lacks. I see the one who calls himself I in this world. So, she lacks this quality. She is not able to identify herself as her, or she can't call herself as I, because all the things that she has to become, that is attributed by others, she can't be herself. So she's so jealous about others who can call themselves as I, establish themselves. He is tightly packed like the sword in its sheath. She is finding some comparison, some imagery to define that man. He's just like a sword that is tightly packed in, that is very safe in its sheath, in its cover. So, the identity of man is very safe, and he is very bold to say, this is It is I who drink lonely drinks at 12 midnight in hotels of strange towns. It is I who love, it is I who make love and then feel shame. Here, we can feel the characteristics of confessional poetry. She's openly talking about herself. In those first lines, we can see she's openly talking about her bodily changes. Here, she's talking about her passionate love, physical union. Now, she's talking about she used to drink at 12 o'clock in the midnight in the strange hotels and towns. And whenever she want to laugh, she make it. Whenever she want to make love, she does it. And then feel shame. It is I who lie dying with a rattle in my throat after satisfying those old passionate love. She feels she's lying, dying with a rattle in her throat. There is a confusion, or there's a feeling of sinner. I'm a sinner, I'm saint. So, what is the reason behind having a rattle in her throat? She feels she has committed sin, having sex with someone else. And at the same time, she feels herself as saint by establishing herself. She enjoyed herself. She became herself. That is why she feels she's a saint, and at the same time she feels as a sinner too. There's a prick of consciousness in her. I am the beloved, I am the betrayed. That paradox works here. At the same time, I became the beloved of someone, and at the same time I feel betrayed, cheated. I have no joys that are not yours, no aches which are not yours. I too call myself I. See, she shares everything with that man. She says, I am not possessing anything for myself. My joys, my aches, or my pains, everything is yours. My all emotions depends upon you. Still I calls myself I. That is the paradox here. So I just tried to paraphrase this poem, and this is an introduction is a poem published in the collection of Summer in Calcutta. Okay, thank you.